Today's lesson is called What's in a Word? English terms from ancient myths. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I am Roger. Again, we're going to continue talking about English terms from ancient myths, and we brought some examples to you last time. Of course, we've got words like Nike or Oedipus complex. Last time we talked about the Midas touch. Those, of course, come from ancient Greek. We also mentioned echo. Echo, that comes from a nymph in Greek mythology who was punished by Hera because she liked to sing and she talked too much. So now Echo can only repeat what other people say.
Hey, and don't forget about Harry Potter. Well, we didn't learn about a term that was derived from Harry Potter, but if you happen to be a fan of Harry Potter, you're probably familiar with the phrase to rise from the ashes. And here, this phrase, to rise from the ashes, it comes from a myth in Greek mythology there. Okay, the phoenix was a bird that would burst into flames and would be destroyed every 500 years only to be reborn. So if someone says, hey, he really rose from the ashes, that means that person kind of fell apart but was then reborn better than ever. So this person might have failed, might have been down and out, might have lost everything, lost all their money and everything. Their life might have been a total ruin. But hey, one day they were reborn. They came back better than ever. They made all their money back even more. They bought a new house, got a new wife, so on and so forth. They rose from the ashes. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
To make a Herculean effort means to work extremely hard at something very difficult. This expression arose from the 12 labors of Hercules, a series of nearly impossible tasks that King Eurystheus assigned to the Greek hero. To complete the tasks, Hercules had to kill a lion with his bare hands and capture a 3-headed dog named Cerberus, among other demonstrations of strength.
各位好，第一部分我们看到的单字是 demonstration。这个字是名词，指展现、示范。例如 Marco is going to give a demonstration of our latest product at the launching ceremony. Marco 将在发表会上示范如何使用我们的最新产品。另外，补充 demonstration 的动词 demonstrate， D-E-M-O-N-S-T-R-A-T-E demonstrate 有展现、证明之意。我们可以说 David demonstrated his feelings for Josephine by sending her a dozen roses. David 送 Josephine 一打玫瑰来展现他的心意。
Okay, let's continue to learn about phrases and terms from mythology. So today we're going to talk about the phrase to make a Herculean effort. Of course, that comes from the name of the god Hercules, who was a really strong fella. So to make a Herculean effort means to work extremely hard at something very difficult. So I could say, well, I climbed Mount Everest, but I had to make a Herculean effort to do so.
There you go. To make a Herculean effort means you work really hard at trying to do something very difficult, or while trying to do that very difficult thing. Now, this expression arose from the 12 labors of Hercules, a series of nearly impossible tasks that King Eurystheus assigned to the Greek hero Hercules. Anyways, we've got 2 vocabulary words to talk about right now. The first of these is the word arose, which is the past tense form of the verb arise. And here, if something arises, it comes about. It comes from something. It starts to exist in some way, shape, or form. So where did this expression come from? From where did it originate? It came from, or it arose from, the 12 labors of Hercules. Now, there's more here. We've got the verb assign. If you're assigned work, let's say, you're given a job, usually a job in a specific location or at a specific time. But here, Hercules, yes, he was assigned these tasks, these 12 labors. He had to do these things, and that's why we're saying that this king assigned these tasks, these labors to Hercules.
For example, I could say, I was assigned by my teacher to write a report about the Japanese colonial era in Taiwan. And, of course, assign is the verb. Assignment is the noun. We could say that Hercules was given an assignment to complete all these tasks that were assigned to him from King Eurystheus. But in any case here, to complete the tasks or to perform the tasks, Hercules had to kill a lion with his bare hands. He could not use a rifle or a spear or some kind of trap or something. He had to use his bare hands. He also had to capture a 3-headed dog named Cerberus. Okay, this is a dog that had 3 heads. And these were among other demonstrations of strength. So we gave you 2 examples here of what Hercules had to do. We don't really have time to list the other tasks that were assigned to him. But in any case here, he had to show his strength, or he had to give these demonstrations of strength. So a demonstration, of course, is when you show that you can do something. A demonstration could also be when somebody shows you how to use a piece of equipment or something like that. When you buy your computer, for example, maybe the salesman will have to give you a demonstration on how to use it.
There you go. Hercules had to prove his strength to this king. He had to demonstrate his strength or show the king that he has this particular strength. So yes, demonstrate would be the verb. Demonstration is the noun, and very simply, a demonstration is just the act of showing something or proving something. But like Roger said before, very often a demonstration is just the act of showing how something works. You show someone how to do something, how something works, etc. It's the act of showing how something works, how it's used, how it's done. I think I've made myself clear. One other note. Sometimes people use the word demonstration to refer to a protest. A demonstration and a protest can mean the same thing. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
A labyrinth is a structure with multiple paths where one can easily get lost. The original labyrinth, which comes from the story of Theseus, was designed to contain a half-man, half-bull creature known as the Minotaur. Each year, 7 young men and women were sent to the labyrinth to be eaten by the monster. Not until Theseus killed the Minotaur did this practice come to an end. To open a Pandora's box means to do something foolish or careless that causes many problems. The phrase is based on the tale of Pandora, who was driven by curiosity to open a box that she had been forbidden to open. Upon lifting the box's lid, she released all of the world's evils: death, disease, war, and more.
第二部分我们看到一个名词 labyrinth 指迷宫，像是 The museum was like a labyrinth in which one could easily get lost. 这座博物馆就像一个迷宫，容易让人迷失。Labyrinth 除了可以指迷宫，还可以指错综复杂的事物。所以可以说 Eric had to navigate through a labyrinth of government bureaucracy just to get his passport renewed. Eric 必须在迷宫般的政府官僚之中迷航，只是为了要更新他的护照。再来，我们看到一个片语 come to an end， 代表结束、终结，也可以用 come to a close。举例来说 As camp comes to an end, don't forget to exchange contact information with your new friends. 或是 As camp comes to a close, don't forget to exchange contact information with your new friends. 露营活动结束时，别忘了跟你的新朋友交换联络资讯。另外，补充另一个 come to 的片语，可以用 come to 加名词来表示接近、达到某个状态。我们可以说 Things are finally coming to a head between Jim and his boss. Jim 和老板之间的情况终于到了非解决不可的地步。接着，我们看到名词 curiosity 有好奇心、求知欲的意思。例如 Jane's curiosity about the mysterious of the universe led her to become an astronomer. Jane 对宇宙的好奇心引领她成为一位天文学家。另外，补充 curiosity 的形容词 curious, C-U-R-I-O-U-S, curious, 可以指意料之外的、不寻常的。所以可以说 Philip and Linda's marriage is a curious arrangement. Philip 和 Linda 结婚是个出乎意料之外的决定。接下来我们看到一个单字 forbid， 这个字为动词，指禁止、阻碍，像是The law forbids littering, and if you get caught, you will be fined. 法律禁止乱丢垃圾，如果你被抓到，会被处以罚金。另外，补充2个 forbid 的片语。首先，可以用 forbid somebody from doing something 来指禁止某人做某事。举例来说 ，People are forbidden from smoking inside public buildings in Taiwan. 在台湾，所有人都禁止在公共建筑内抽烟。再来，常用 forbid somebody to do something 来表示禁止某人点点点。所以我们可以说 Dar's mom forbade him to go outside before he finished his homework. Dar 的妈妈禁止他在完成功课之前出门。
Okay, so in the first part of our lesson, we learned this phrase to make a Herculean effort. Well, now let's talk about something called a labyrinth. A labyrinth, also sometimes called a maze. A labyrinth is a structure with multiple paths where one can easily get lost. Okay, sometimes you see mazes that you can perform or you can do that are on paper. You try to draw a line and try to find the way from point A to point B. Sometimes there are labyrinths or mazes outside that are made out of bushes, and you kind of have to figure out how to get around that maze here. But a labyrinth basically has lots of paths or passageways. And if you don't know where you're going and if you don't remember where you turned last, you could get lost. Again, a labyrinth is the same thing as a maze, although a labyrinth is more of a word we use figuratively.
Now, you mentioned the labyrinth, you mentioned a maze. I get the feeling that the story of Theseus is coming on. By the way, Theseus was a clever fellow. He was clever, and he also got some assistance. He had to go into the labyrinth, kill a mighty beast, and then get out again. But the way that he was able to do that, well, first, he had like superhuman strength, so he was able to kill the beast. But how was he able to get out of the labyrinth afterwards? He attached a piece of string to the entrance of the labyrinth and then held that string with him the whole time, okay? So that he had that string to help him get out of the labyrinth at the end. He followed it back to the entrance of the labyrinth. It's quite the story.
It is, but here, of course, we've got the original story of Theseus. So the original labyrinth, the first one, which comes from the story of Theseus, was designed to contain a half-man, half-bull creature known as the Minotaur. So again, this monster or this creature was inside this labyrinth or inside this maze, and this creature was kind of unusual. It was half a man and half a bull. You can probably see pictures of it online somewhere. It's kind of cute, actually, but I guess it was a mean creature, and somebody had to kill that Minotaur for whatever reason, and that Minotaur was inside that labyrinth. Hence, that's where we get this word labyrinth.
Well, why did they need to kill it? Well, that's what we learn next. Each year, 7 young men and women were sent to the labyrinth to be eaten by the monster. So this was a barbaric practice, and it had to come to an end, and that's why they needed a hero. And the hero Theseus stepped up and said, not only will I get in and get out of this labyrinth using my cunning and guile and a little bit of help, but I'll also slay the the Minotaur for you guys as well. What a guy. Anyways, yes, 7 young men and women were sent to the labyrinth to be eaten by the monster each year, and not until Theseus killed the Minotaur did this practice come to an end. And here we have the phrase to come to an end. If something comes to an end, it stops. Yes, to come to an end means to end something, to stop something, or to bring a practice to its end.
Exactly. And, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it wasn't the Minotaur's fault. It's just an animal. They do these sorts of things. I think the problem was with the people who sent those men and women to the labyrinth in the first place. If they didn't send those people there, the Minotaur wouldn't have been eating them. But in any case, that's just my interpretation. So not until Theseus killed the monster. Or you could say it wasn't until Theseus killed the Minotaur that this practice ended. That it came to an end, and no young men and women had to die at the hands of the Minotaur, because the Minotaur was dead, but I think the labyrinth is still there. So that's the phrase there, and oftentimes we use the word labyrinth to talk about something that's very complicated. For example, I wanted to open a business in Taiwan, but the labyrinth of rules and regulations made me change my mind. It was too complicated. So that's what a labyrinth means in modern speech.
Okay, and we also have an example sentence for the phrase to come to an end. You could say something like this: oh my goodness, this was a perfect day. It's just too bad that it has to come to an end. I would love for this perfect day to last forever. Anyways, let's move on. We just talked about the labyrinth, or the word labyrinth, and how it's used in English these days. Now let's talk about another phrase: to open a Pandora's box. To open a Pandora's box means to do something foolish or careless that causes many problems.
Exactly. So that's Pandora's box, and the phrase is to open a Pandora's box. And as you said, yes, you do something foolish, you do something stupid, something careless, and that, as a result, causes lots of problems. Now, the phrase is based on the tale of Pandora, who was driven by curiosity to open a box that she had been forbidden to open. So that's the old tale, or the old story of Pandora. She was very curious. Okay, if you're curious, of course, you want to know all about new things. We always say that children are curious. They're always asking questions or checking things out. So that's to be curious. But here the noun is curiosity. So you might have curiosity if you're a kid. You're asking questions. You're looking at things. You're getting into drawers and checking things out. So yes, indeed, Pandora was curious, or she was driven by curiosity. Somebody said, hey, Pandora, don't open that box. Never open that box. You are forbidden to open that box. Forbidden, that means you're not allowed to do something. Smoking is forbidden in the MRT. Don't do it or you will be severely punished. I think eating and drinking is forbidden in the MRT as well, and that comes from the verb to forbid.
There you go. There's another fancy word that means about the same thing, the word prohibited. You could also say that smoking is prohibited on the MRT. It would mean the exact same thing. Anyways, more on Pandora and the box that she opened. Upon lifting the box's lid, she released all of the world's evils: death, disease, war, and more. So there you go. If you open a Pandora's box, you do something, and yes, this causes a lot of problems. Now, whatever you're going to do, it can't be as bad as what Pandora did, but still, if you open up a Pandora's box, you are going to invite a whole lot of difficulty into your life that you don't need to invite into your life. You're going to cause yourself a lot of problems. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be wrapping up our lesson called What's in a Word? English Terms from Ancient Myths.
These examples of English terms derived from ancient myths are just a drop in the bucket. See if you can find more.
"最后第三部分我们看到一个片语 a drop in the bucket， 用来指九牛一毛、沧海一粟、微不足道。 这个片语也可以用 a drop in the ocean 来表示。举例来说， The amount of money that many of the world's richest people contribute to charity is a drop in the bucket. 许多世上最富有的人捐献给慈善机构的金额只是9牛1毛。
Okay, the last part of our lesson is actually quite short, so let's talk about it here. These are examples of these terms in English that come from mythology. So these examples of English terms derived from ancient myths are just a drop in the bucket. I wonder if the phrase a drop in the bucket is actually from some myth somewhere. But in any case, a drop in the bucket just means a very small amount of a much larger thing. If you talk about, say, ancient stories from China and you just tell one story, like the story of Hou Yi, Hou Yi She Ri, well, that's just a drop in the bucket of all the stories that come from China. There are thousands and thousands of stories from China. That one story is just a drop in the bucket. It's just one among millions.
There you go, a drop in the bucket here. We're not being literal. It just means a small, insignificant amount of something. Like one day, I was talking to my dad. Okay, we're watching the news there, the financial news, and it said that Bill Gates today lost millions of dollars because Microsoft stock went down. I went, oh no, poor Bill Gates. And my dad said, don't worry about him. He's a multi-billionaire. If he loses a couple of million here or there, that's no big deal for him. It's just a drop in the bucket. Yes, he's got money to lose and to burn. He could spend millions and not sweat it at all. For him, it's just a drop in the bucket. Anyways, these examples of English terms derived from ancient myths are just a drop in the bucket. So, see if you can find some more. All right, folks, with that, it is time for us to say bye-bye for now, but don't worry, don't fret, the Chinese teacher is waiting in the wings.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天文法重点。在第一部分我们看到一个单字是 assign。 assign 它表示指派分配，那这边要帮同学们补充它的字首字根。好， sign S-I-G-N 这个部分它有标记、指示或是符号的意思。那在 assign 这个字当中， sign 它表示标记，那么字首 as 它是来自 ad 表示朝向， ad 它摆在 s 之前会拼作 as。 好，那同学们就可以试着想象，当你拿着一张单子，然后在上面标记每个人要分配的数量，要分配的工作，就不难联想到 assign 它有指派或是分配的语义了。好，那要顺便补充两个有相同字根的单字。第一个是 design， design 我们知道是设计嘛。好，它的字首第一表示 out 向外， sign 表示 mark 标记。同学们小时候有没有玩过那个依照数字的顺序去把那个点点连在一起，把它连成一个图案？好，当我们把所有标记的东西把它绘制出来，你也许就可以联想到 design 它有设计、构思或是计划的语义。好，另外一个补充的单字是 resign， R-E-S-I-G-N， resign 它的字首 R-E 表示相反， sign 表示标记。什么叫做相反标记呢？好，其实这个字它是有典故的，原本在拉丁文里面它是指这个在账簿上面画反记号来去核销原本的注记。好，那后来它就引申出这个辞职的意思了。接着我们读到课文第二部分有一个句子是Not until Theseus killed the Minotaur did this practice come to an end. 直到 Theseus 杀死了 Minotaur， 这个惯例才终止。好，这边要介绍的是 until 搭配否定句的用法。until 搭配否定句，它可以表达出直到什么什么才怎么样，直到什么才开始怎么样。好，那它的句型是主词加助动词加 not， 再加动词，再加 until 搭配时间点或是子句。例如He didn't go to bed until 3 a.m. 直到凌晨3点钟他才去睡觉。They didn't leave until the store closed. 直到商店关门他们才离开。好，那当我们把句型的 not 以及 until 引导的子句或时间点把它移到句首的时候，主要子句就必须倒装哦，因为 not 否定词在前面嘛，要记得倒装，所以你的助动词就要移到主词的前方，这个句型就会变成 not until 加时间点或子句
再加助动词，再加主词加动词。像刚刚2个例句 He didn't go to bed until 3 a.m. 可以改成 Not until 3 a.m. did he go to bed. 还有 They didn't leave until the store closed. 你可以把它改成 Not until the store closed did they leave. 好，回头来看课文的句子，它原本可以写说 This practice did not come to an end until Theseus killed the Minotaur. 那我们把句子里面这个 not 还有 until Theseus killed the Minotaur 把它移到句首，记得要把助动词 did 移到主词前方，形成倒装，所以句子就会变成 Not until Theseus killed the Minotaur did this practice come to an end. 好，以上就是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Arise. This question arose at our meeting last month, and no one has been able to answer it so far. Assign. My mom assigned the chore of cleaning out the garage to me. Demonstration. If you can play this song in the concert, it will be a wonderful demonstration of your musical skills. Labyrinth. So many people get lost in this neighborhood that it's often compared to a labyrinth. Curiosity. Curiosity drove Doug to get in touch with his ex-girlfriend, even though he knew it was a bad idea. Forbid. My parents forbade me from leaving the house without telling them where I was going.
Discussion Starter starts now!
It's time now for our discussion starter. What other phrases do you know that come from ancient stories?
The phrase Achilles' heel comes from the story of Achilles, which I believe is found in the Iliad of Homer. Now, what does this phrase mean? Well, it means that a person has one weakness. This great hero Achilles was fast and was an almost invincible warrior. Almost invincible. He had one weakness, his heel, his Achilles' heel, so to speak.
Well, we often say to be hit by Cupid's arrow, which comes from an old story about Cupid who shot arrows at people and made them fall in love with people. So yes, indeed, if you say someone has been hit by Cupid's arrow, that means he or she has fallen in love with somebody.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.